In a quiet, sun-drenched neighborhood, life moved at two very different speeds. For Marley, a thoughtful border collie mix, every morning began with a strict routine. He patrolled the perimeter, his worried eyes scanning for any sign of disorder. To Marley, the fence wasn't just wood, it was his shield against the world. Perched on the fence was Pip, a street-smart pigeon who had seen it all. He watched Marley's obsessive checks with a mix of pity and amusement. But just on the other side of that very same fence, order was a foreign concept. This was the kingdom of Chewie, the boisterous terrier mix. Chewie didn't patrol, he zoomed. Life was a whirlwind of chasing shadows in his own tail, his joyful energy radiating through his scruffy tan fur. Suddenly, Chewie spotted a gap. He shoved his scruffy face through the fence, startling Marley right out of his careful perimeter check. In his excitement, Chewie accidentally nudged his favorite chewed-up ball through the gap. It rolled right into the center of Marley's pristine yard. As evening fell, the warm glow of the house offered Marley comfort. His owner, Anna, filled his bowl with a kind, reassuring smile. Despite the safety of home, Marley found himself staring at the fence. Curiosity was beginning to itch, even more than his usual worries. The next morning, disaster struck, or perhaps it was destiny. In a burst of reckless speed, crashed through a loose board into Marley's yard. Before Marley could protest, Chewie spotted the front gate left slightly ajar. Without a second thought, the little terrier squeezed under and headed out. Pip fluttered down, hissing a warning. "That pup has no road sense, Marley. He's heading for the big city. He won't last 10 minutes. Marley's heart raced. He was terrified of the unknown. But the thought of Chewie lost in the chaos was worse. He took a deep breath. The city was a cacophony of roaring engines and towering shadows. Every honk made Marley jump, but he kept his eyes on Pip's guiding wings. They found Chewie in a grand city park, blissfully unaware of the danger, joyfully chasing a flock of city pigeons in circles. Exhausted, the duo wandered into a hidden community garden. It was a lush, quiet sanctuary, hidden behind tall brick walls. They were met by Bunny, a no-nonsense rabbit wearing a tiny bandana. She scolded them for trampling her lettuce, but saw their hunger. She shared some fallen tomatoes with them. As Marley ate, he realized the world outside wasn't just scary, it could be beautiful and kind, too. But as dusk turned to night, the garden shadows grew long. They had wandered too far. The path back was lost in a maze of alleyways. From the shadows emerged Duke, a large, grizzled hound dog with a scarred coat and a territorial stance. He growled, blocking their way. Chewie whimpered, shrinking back. But Marley remembered why he was there. He stood tall, finding a voice he never knew he had. Marley politely but firmly asked for the way home. Duke, surprised by the small dog's courage, softened his gaze and gave a respectful nod. Following Duke's directions, the two friends finally saw the familiar glow of their own street lamps. They had made it back together. As they stood between their 2 yards, Marley looked at the hole in the fence. "No more holes?" he seemed to say with a wag. The next morning, the neighborhood looked the same, but everything had changed. Pip watched from above as the two dogs met at the front. They were still neighbors, but now they were a team. Checking the perimeter together, they found that home was wherever they were together.